guys, I'd like to welcome back at this time one of my favorite guests, the silent assassin himself, Vicente Luque, all the way from Brazil. How you doing today, Vicente?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me again.
Of course, brother. Let's jump right into it, man. You had an amazing performance a couple weeks ago against Randy Brown. Let's just walk through that finish, brother. You one of the most instinctual fighters I've ever seen. The fight IQ is super high. You were in the frame of mind to hold Randy Brown up so he could put hands on the ground, deliver that final knee. Tell me what was just going through your mind in that whole time.
You know, at that moment, I was looking actually for a Doris or a guillotine choke. I was looking for some kind of choke over there, but I realized that there wasn't much time left, and I heard Gilbert tell me, "Hey, throw the knee." He said many times like knee, 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 and then I thought about it like, yeah, I think this might work, but I got to make sure that Randy doesn't have the he's not grounded. You know, he's not
Yeah.
with on the floor. So I kind of held his head up and through the knee, and that at that point I knew, because if he had only his fingers touching, that would not be considered a grounded opponent. So
You'd
I
have
was
your whole palm down on the ground.
exactly, yeah. So I was pretty confident at that moment. He was not grounded, and it actually paid off. I finished off with a ground and pound. I actually thought the round was gonna finish, so I made sure that I was gonna, not let him get back to his corner, so the fight would finish. So, but anyway, the referee stopped it before the time was done, so it worked out.
I always talk about the power you have in your left hand, and you showed it after you hit him with that knee, man. You hit him with some big shots as he was already down. You really put him out. It was a decisive victory. You obviously called for some big names next. What do you want right now? Are you healthy, ready to go?
Yeah, I'm healthy. I feel really good. I've been resting. You know, I rested last week. I'll rest up this week. Next week, I'm back to training. My plan is to have one more fight this year. I'm aiming for December. I think that's a good, time frame where I could recover and have a great training camp. So I'm aiming for that. And I want a guy inside the top 15, preferably inside the top 10. You know, I'm a top 10 myself right now, so I think it just makes sense. I've beat almost everybody, that is almost into the top 15. So right now I got to face a top opponent.
If you were unable to get that matchup with, a Nate Diaz like you called for, would you be interested in facing that gentleman behind you and Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, man, for sure. I would
Get
love to
that
fight.
rematch.
Yes, yes, yes. That would definitely be something I'm aiming for. That's the rematch I most want to have in my life, especially because he's a striker. I'm a striker, so he showed so many kind of different things that improves my game after that loss. So I just want to run it again, see how I evolved, and get that win. You know, I feel confident that I can get that win. Another name that I would be really up to fighting is Michael Chiesa. I think he's a guy, that
Yeah.
is above me in the rankings. I don't think he has a fight lined up, so it makes sense. You know, it's two guys. He's up there. He beat Rafael. I'm beating a lot of guys, so I have a good momentum going. I think it's a fight that makes sense.
Yeah, you talked about beating a lot of guys. You looked phenomenal since losing to Thompson. You beat Nico Price. You finished him. You finished Randy Brown. You are very keen on finishing your opponents, and you've been doing that since the very beginning of your career. You've even doing that on the Ultimate Fighter. Uh, do you think that there's like that little like killer instinct in you that realizes that you just got to finish these fights now and stop trying to mess with these judges?
Yeah, man, for sure. And it's my style. I'm aggressive. Whenever I see an opening, I will take it. I'm not the kind of guy that is gonna play it safe. Most of the times it pays off, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. It works for me. I see the opportunity, be it on the ground, be it on the feet. I'll go for it. Usually, I'm gonna get that finish, and it just makes it that much more decisive. Whenever it goes to the hand of the judges, you never know what's gonna go on. You never know what fight they saw. So just make sure I finish the fights. That works out better, and the fans enjoy it. So it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, you're definitely a fan favorite. We talked about Randy Brown, and he mentioned some things that were not very nice about you. He said that you were one dimensional. What did you respond to that? Because obviously, as you've shown in the fight and as you've shown in the past, you're far from one dimensional.
Yeah, I never actually got to watch any of his interviews. I'm not so into that. But Henry, Daniel, my coach here from Brazil, Gilbert, they all were kind of talking about it, about his before the fight, about the interview, how he said that I was one dimensional. He actually talked about like probably I was gonna go in there and kick and do my kickboxing game, and I mean, I don't totally disagree in the sense that I that's what I was gonna do, but I think maybe he didn't realize that I can have a lot of other things that I can set up that with. So my kicks worked out, and he knew I was gonna kick him. So I think that it's difficult when you think that, man, I already know how this guy fights, but when you actually face the opponent, it's different. I don't know if he underestimated me, but I mean, I definitely didn't underestimate him because I knew he was going to come ready for this fight. It was his big opportunity. And my plan was, to give him a bad night and make sure that I keep my streak and get all the way to the top. And it paid off for me.
It seemed like too like he was trying to hit you with his best shots, and he did kind of land onto some of those shots. And then once they weren't putting you out, it kind of seemed like it was a little like disheartening to him. Like he was like, I've just thrown the kitchen sink at this guy, and he's still coming in front of me.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you?
he has really good boxing. He hit me with a good left hook and also with the elbow, the reverse elbow. That was a clean shot. I remember that when he connected it, I kind of smiled at him like, man, I didn't see that coming. You hit me good. But I have a chin. I can take a lot of punishment. I'm trying not to take as much. I think in this fight, I was able to avoid a little bit, especially considering my last year where I had all those fight of the nights. I got a lot of damage, even in the fights I won. So I'm trying to change that up. But I know that whenever I'm not able to block a shot, I know my chin will be there. I will be able to take it. And I'm going to look to pay that, double against my opponent and make sure that he feels it and I put him out. So, he was definitely ready for this fight. I felt that he was at a very good level, competitive level. But I just had the game plan on point. It worked out perfectly as we had planned in the gym. And man, I was definitely super ready for this fight.
Now you talked about the gym. Let's talk about it real quick. Sanford MMA, where you train at. I've been able to ask your teammates this, but what does it mean to you to train with the killers that you have over there at Sanford, and what have they done to play a factor into getting you ready for the fights during the pandemic?
It's very good to work with the guys over there, especially Henry and Gilbert, which are the guys that I most work with. But the whole team is really strong. For this pandemic, I was a very little period of time over there. Before my fight against Nico Price in April, I was there about a week or two. But so I got to get some training over there. But anyways, most of my training was done in Brazil at Serrato MMA. I just felt that at this moment it was important to be, near my family,
With
and
home.
my team over in Brazil always has my back. It's the team I started with, and the good thing is Daniel, my coach over here in Brazil, he's always in touch with Henry. So no matter where I'm training, both of them are watching what I'm doing, are making sure that I'm getting what I need, and they are always in touch with each other, lining up strategy and everything. That's why both of them are always in my corner as well. And it's a great job. Serrato MMA, Sanford MMA, we're working together. It's paying off, and big things are coming for us for sure.
It must be nice to have two different guys who obviously share almost the same brain to work you in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that uh, you know, the more people you got, obviously, it has to be the right people. It cannot just be everyone, but the
Yeah.
more really good minds, guys that really know what they're doing, that can help you and that work together, the better. And that's the big thing. Daniel and Henry, they think much alike in many things, and whatever they have of like different, they kind of like complement each other. So it's the things that they miss, they kind of each other has what the other one misses. So together, they're just like they get me on point. They know what I got to do, what I got to improve, what kind of adjustments I need to do before a fight or during a fight. Especially Henry, during the fight, he's able to put on so much adjustments that he realizes at the moment. So it's definitely it helps me a lot, and it makes my work much easier.
You talked about, those two being, two peas in a pod almost, one knowing what the other one's thinking. Is it safe to say that you and Gilbert Burns almost have the same relationship?
The best, and we're not going to hold back in training. We're not going to go there and waste a training session. So since that first moment, we always kind of like felt we kind of had the same mentality. So that started clicking. I had really good striking. He had really good grappling. We started complementing each other. So now we're kind of like really MMA fighters. We're good all over in every area, and the big thing is he knows my game really well. I know his game really well. So when we corner each other, it's really easy just to. I see him fighting, and I know what I gotta say in his game, and that's gonna work for him. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, what I would do. I'm thinking about what he would be doing, and I know exactly what works for him. He knows what works for me. So it just makes it easier, and especially having a guy that's actively fighting right now, competing. It's a different mindset. Not saying it's better than a coach. Obviously not, because a coach has another kind of background, but a guy that is competing has just that. It's kind of more diluted. His information is right at the moment it works. He says it, I do it.
Yeah, it seems like you two work very well together, and it seems like you guys have, just been able to build off each other. Obviously, Gilbert has had, tremendous success here lately, beating the former number one contender Tyron Woodley, making himself the number one contender. Sanford MMA now holds what, three of the top 10 welterweights in the world.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of tough guys over there. A lot of it. Not counting him out of the UFC. We got guys over in Bellator, ONE
Oh,
FC.
yeah, you got Michael Chandler,
Killing it. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
just killers over there. I mean, it speaks volumes to guys like you who are willing to go in there every day and train with killers like that. You could check your egos at the door, and everyone can just go for the greater good of each other.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a big thing, like people say, iron sharpens iron, and that's true. I mean, if you are looking to train with guys that are not gonna expose you, are not gonna kind of put you in a bad spot, you're probably not gonna be getting much better than what you are at the moment. So I think that's the big thing. We gotta be in the uncomfortable situations so we grow, and once we're in the fight, it just feels easy. It's like there's no uncomfortable anymore. You've been through that in the gym.
Yeah, it's all about learning to be uncomfortable. We're learning to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, it's been a strange time for our world right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. It's crazy. How has it hit you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has struggled with that. Fortunately for me, it hasn't been the worst. All my family is safe. I've been able to do what I do, to go out there and fight 2 times already this year. And for the first fight against Equal Price, I kind of struggled a little bit with training. Everything had really started here in Brazil. The gyms were closed, everything was closed. So most of it was done at home, and I did kind of running cardio in the street, everything that I could do, but most of it was at home. I was able to get there in pretty good shape. I felt like 80% of my 100. And for this fight now, it was much better. So things were open here. The gym was open. I could get good training with training partners, have sparring and all of that. And it felt like a normal training camp. Obviously, I didn't have like the gym wasn't full. I was working with only two guys and two coaches, but anyways, I was able to train and get what I needed for this fight. But yeah, it's tough times. I see a lot of people, especially here in Brazil, struggling. Not being able to work. Some people not having food. So it's tough times. It's definitely not something that I've ever lived. I hope never to live again, and hopefully this will end soon and everybody can get out of it, stronger.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. For your first fight with Nico, were you able to bring in any kind of training partners at all?
Not really. I mean, I had some training sessions with one of my main sparring partners here in Brazil, Andre Fischer. So he's a tall guy. He knows how to mix it up really well. So he was staying at home. He wasn't working. He wasn't doing anything, and he had been tested. So I made sure that I got like 3 or 4 sparring sessions with him before that fight, just so I don't know. I love sparring. I think that makes me, be on point with my technique. But most of the other things were done at home, so it was really unconventional, not normal at all for me.
But you were able to get through it. You looked phenomenal in your performance. So it's really, it seemed like the pandemic didn't stop you at all from just shining.
I know, man. Before everything started, I was training really good. I was supposed to fight Randy Brown in April 11th, so I was in a training camp already when the quarantine over here started. So I was kind of able to maintain that to Nico Price fight. After Nico Price, I rested up a little bit, and things got better here in Brazil. I mean, we started opening a little bit more gyms and all this, so I got right back to training. That's why I felt confident to get a fight in August and get right back in there. So I think the big thing is I'm always training. I'm always keeping myself in shape no matter what. If I have to train at home, I will train at home. And just to make sure that I can show up and not only show up to fight, but to put on a great performance and to get that W.
Now, to train at home, have you like converted a room with mats? What have you been doing?
Not really. I live in an apartment, so it's not that big. What I do is I do a lot of technique work over here. I'll do it in my living room. And whenever I need to do more of kind of cardio stuff, I'll go down and they have like a yard over here. So I can
Perfect.
train in this yard. And that's where I do most of whatever I got to work at home. But right now, I'm doing most of the things at the gym. We have the gym open now. Limited access. Not everybody can go, but me and my coaches, we can go there
But
and
you're
get some.
Vicente Luque.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we can get some work. That's fortunate.
It must be nice.
Yeah, man.
Now, let's talk about this real quick. You said December would be ideal for you. There's no injuries. You're ready to go. If something was short notice and it popped up and it was a good matchup for you, would you be willing to jump in it?
Man, Nate Diaz, Masvidal, something like that. I would definitely, get ready for it in 2 weeks from now. No,
Tyrone Woodley has a scheduled matchup with Colby Covington. What if one of those two dropped out?
it's a good possibility too. They're big names. One has been interim champ, the other one has been a dominant champion. Definitely, I will be aiming for that, and I'll keep myself ready. That's something I'm used to. Gilbert also does that all the time. We keep ourselves ready because we know big opportunities. They'll knock in the door at their worst moment, so we got to be ready for it. And that's the plan. Next week, I'm getting back to work and I'll keep myself ready for big opportunities. And like I said, if it's something that makes sense, that is a big opportunity, a big shot, I will take it for sure.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see you back in the cage. It's going to be an interesting time. What have you been doing outside of the cage? I know a lot of it, your focus has been just getting ready for fights, but what have you kind of doing just to chill and relax?
Well, man, now I've been gaming a lot, so I got an Xbox end of last year, and I've been playing Warzone, Call of Duty,
Nice.
Warzone, and cooking. I like to cook a lot. So when I was scheduled to fight, I couldn't cook that much because I couldn't eat. I had to do the diet. But now after the fight, I always like to cook and to bake some bread and just enjoy the time I have before my next diet, my next training camp. So mostly that and resting up.
What's your go-to meal to cook?
Man, it depends. It depends on the time, but right now I would say burgers. I like burgers, so I'll do most of it here. I'll like get the meat, choose it, and kind of make a blend. Sometimes I put some pork meat with normal cow
Right.
meat and mix it up. I'll sometimes bake the bread. It depends if what kind of mood I am. If I really want to do it good, I'll go and bake the bread as well. But I like different things. I like to try, different things.
Not even just a silent assassin. He's a silent chef as well, guys. For you, man, I can't wait to see you back in the octagon. I'm not going to take too much more of your time. I know how crazy it is right now in the pandemic. But before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to give a shout out to your teammates, loved ones, sponsors, anyone that's really helped you along your MMA journey.
Yeah, thank everybody here in Brazil, all my family. Thank my team, Serrato MMA. They always got my back. Thank my team, Sanford MMA as well. Henry Hoof, Gilbert Burns, all the guys working with me over there in Florida. And man, thank the fans. I think the fans are my biggest motivation. Going out there, putting on a show for everybody is one of my biggest goals. The thing that most satisfies me from fighting. And right now, everybody's at home. People cannot go there watch, and they don't really have much to watch. So it's really an honor to go there and give some entertainment to people at home. So thank you, all the fans.
Yeah, and you've definitely been able to give us some entertainment. You've had two of the most entertaining fights we've had during this pandemic. So I thank you for that, and we all thank you for that. Vicente, we can't wait to see you in the octagon, no matter who it is. I hope it's a big name. I can't wait to see you just continue to ascend up this welterweight division, man. Until we speak again, have a good evening, and can't wait to see you back in there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
You too, man.